Hello, Dirty Sanchez. It's your commissioner. I come to you on the cusp of Week 13 as we prepare to begin the playoffs in what is a very hectic time for the entire league. Or shall I say, 7 teams in this league who still have a shot at the playoffs. If the playoffs were to start today, our rankings would be myself with the number 1 overall seed. This will probably be the closest that I ever get to seeing a number 1 seed. So I'm going to enjoy it for the next few days while it lasts. Rich would get the number 2 seed. E-Dog would have the number 3 seed. Tim would have the number 4 seed. Steve would have the number 5 seed. And Clayton would have the number 6 seed. The good news is there's still 7 teams that are eligible or have a shot at the playoffs as it stands. Quickly go over the scenarios and who owns the tie breaks. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios. In fact, if things played out, we could have 5 teams tied for the same best record in the league, which would be, I'm pretty sure, unprecedented and probably a nightmare. Before we get into the tie breaks, it probably helps to recap how we do tie breaks. Basically, it goes on a division and interdivision system. So if you have strictly 2 teams, if they're in the same division, you do it by record first, division record second, head-to-head third, and then points scored as fourth. If you have an interdivision tie in records, then it goes simply to the head-to-head matchup. And then if you were to tie at that point, for some reason, let's say those 2 teams played just that one time, they tied, we would go to points scored from there. If we have a 3-way tie, we always solve the division tie first before solving the interdivision tie. So if we have 3 teams tied, 2 are in the same division, we would take the winner of that tie break and then pit that one head-to-head with the other division opponent. So with that, right now, I had the number 1 overall seed if we were to start today, as I mentioned. However, based on how things could play out, I could end up with the number 2 seed, or at worst, the number 3 seed. I will go no lower as a division winner. I own tiebreaks over the Harry Nutsacks, the Morgan Marauders, and the Resin Ballers. I do not own tiebreaks over Hillsborough Hitmen. And the other teams out there, it doesn't matter. We won't ever tie. So the ones I'm concerned about, I own tie breaks on 3 of the 4. As far as Rich is concerned, he owns tie breaks over Morgan's Marauders, Hillsborough Hitmen, and the Resin Ballers. He does not own a tiebreaker over me, obviously. So he owns tie breaks over 3 of 4 as well. He could end up with the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, or possibly the number 4 seed. So he'll never end up with the 3 seed. Who's next? Let's see. That would be E-Dog, Hillsborough Hitmen. He could end up with the 1, 2, and 3 seed. Although for the number 1 seed, it's a little bit kind of out there. He would essentially, I would have to lose. Rich would have to lose. And he'd have to score more points than Rich to pass him up in points total. Make up a 33-point difference in order to get the number 1 overall seed. And Tim would have to lose. So outside shot of him getting the number 1 seed, but he's still technically alive for it. He owns tiebreaks over the Resin Ballers, over myself, and over Channel 4 News. Hillsborough, who's 4th? That would be my man Tim. Tim owns tiebreaks over Resin Ballers and Hillsborough Hitmen. He could finish with the number 1 overall record as well, number 1 overall seed, excuse me. He could have a number 2 seed or a number 4 seed, depending how things play out. He's battling Rich for basically that division championship. So he'll either finish 1, 2 there, but depending on how Rich does, because he owns that tiebreak, he could fall as far as 4. Resin Ballers. he will finish second, third, fourth, or fifth. Those are the only ones. He doesn't have a chance at the number 1 overall seed, but he still does have a chance at a division championship, which would give him the 2 or 3 seed, depending on what happens in the other places, and then depending on a bunch of other factors, he could either finish 4th or 5th. As it stands, he's in 5th place right now, but he can only go up. And then number 6 is Channel 4 News. That's Clayton. He will either keep the number 6 seed. If he wins, he will keep that 6th seed no matter what, because he owns the tiebreak over Toenails. Toenails, in order to make the playoffs, he would have to win and have both Clayton and Brandon lose. Same thing with Brandon. In order for Brandon to make the playoffs, he's kind of got the most outside shot. He would need to win and then have both Toenails and Channel 4 News lose as well. But he's still mathematically alive. The good news for him is both the Toenails and Channel 4 News have tough matchups in that East Division, going up against Harry Nutsacks and Morgan's Marauders, respectively. So that's about it. The only game that really doesn't mean much of anything is Royal Marine. So as far as schedule goes this week, pretty much every game means something. Channel 4 plays Morgan's Marauders, Harry Nutsacks plays Toenails, Seatown plays Arsenal, Hillsborough Hitmen play the Wizenators, Resin Ballers play the Parkers, and pretty much the only game that doesn't really mean much of anything except for seedings for the draft picks next year is Royal Marine at Dickey's. So, that's it. Got some good games this week. It's been a good year thus far. Be very interesting to see how things shake out. I wish you all the best of luck, especially with crazy injuries and crazy performances, crazy players doing stuff that you wouldn't think that they'd be doing, like Dwayne Bowe and Stevie Johnson, people like that. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm rambling, so I'll cut it off. That's how it works out. If you have any questions specifically, post it on the message board, and I'll let you know what the math looks like if you don't feel like doing it yourself. If you have any questions on what my thought process here, or need any clarifications, post it on the board. Otherwise, enjoy this week, and we'll see you in the playoffs, hopefully. Peace out.